There's going to be a couple more people joining in as we get started, but I want to welcome all of you to this preview event. As many of you know, Maximum Acceleration, we are the professionals coaching company, and we have been providing professional guidance, training, and one-on-one coaching for loan officers about how to help them take their business to the next level for going on about 10 years now. About a year ago, we started a weekly webinar series called the Maximum Performance Webinar Series, and it's one of the reasons that the leadership of NAMB asked me to host a preview event to help you guys get a sneak peek of what you're going to be able to get at the NAMB National Conference. So as we get into today's program, we're going to be working through how to help you really take your business to the next level. And what we're specifically focusing on today is really purchase business development strategies. So today's program is about breakthrough strategies to generate more purchase leads. And I'm obviously welcomed by two experts in the field of how to generate a lot more purchase leads. One is Ms. Brenda Casas, who is a top producing originator in the Las Vegas metro area, who's going to share with you some of the unique ways her team and strategies that she is using to develop her practice to the level where she and her team are producing in the neighborhood of around 25-plus purchase loans a month currently, despite the market shifts and the rate hikes that we've experienced. And of course, later in the program, we're going to be shifting gears, and Mr. Mark Madsen is going to share his fabulous insights, tools, and strategies on how to generate purchase leads through internet marketing, social media optimization, and developing an online reputation and presence. So we've got an exciting program. I'm going to go ahead and get started right away by jumping in with Ms. Brenda. And let's talk a little bit about, Ms. Brenda, what are some of the things that you are doing in your market to really separate yourself and really create or power up your purchase business?
Okay, Erik, one of the things that is working very well for my team and I is to be able to develop a unique skill and expertise. We have been focusing on down payment assistance programs, and it's our specialty. And we have found out that not too many loan officers understand those programs, but a lot of buyers are very interested in those kind of programs available for everybody. So that's what we are doing. And also, the way that we have been developing those relationships is I am a volunteer, and I teach classes once a week. So I have the opportunity to be in front of 25, 40 people and teach them, educate them about the mortgage process, about the type of loans. So you are not only educating them, but also they reach back to you because they trust you and they want to ask to help them with a mortgage loan.
Awesome, awesome. And so how did you get that started? And Brenda, you and I have worked together, I guess, a little over a year now in a coaching relationship, and we've obviously, you know, been an asset to you in that perspective. But a lot of this you had done even before meeting up and before we started doing our coaching work together. Tell the group, what are some of the strategies you've used to create that? So let me get this right for our audience. You're in front of weekly 35 to 40 people who have somewhat raised their hand and said they want help buying a home, right? So you're doing like educational classes, first-time home buyer type programming for folks. Where do you actually get these folks to come from? Where do these participants actually arrive?
There are several agencies in Las Vegas, and it's all about helping people to reach to them and just, you know, to offer to educate borrowers. And then in Las Vegas, the majority of our clients work in the casino business. So then they talk with the coworkers, and they start talking about the good experience, the great experience that they have using those programs, and they see that those programs really work. And then a lot of referrals also. We work with a lot of referrals. But those referrals are looking for down payment assistance as well. And so that's why we have created a niche, a specific niche. And yeah, and also sometimes they don't need down payment assistance, but because we have a good reputation and we are able to close those loans and for them to have great experience with us. So the referral part of the business is big also.
Right. Now, as I understand it, Brenda, you didn't necessarily go out and just generate a huge database of folks, and you haven't really done internet marketing. What you've leveraged basically charitable organizations, agencies, and trade unions, correct? Is that
Yes.
pretty much the way that you've? So you're actually doing these education classes or programs on behalf of some of, like for example, give me an example. What's one of the agencies that you do these classes for?
I work with several agencies. They are down payment assistance agencies, nonprofits. I work basically with most of them. For example, today I have a class with one of them, Neighborhood Services of Nevada. So they know I love to teach those classes, so they contact me. I'm happy to go and teach them. I have an hour where I can talk about the type of loans available, the process, and education is very important. I think I work a lot with first-time home buyers, and I agree that everyone should take a class before they buy their first house.
Okay, awesome. So as you're working through some of those classes and as you're providing these classes on behalf of, well, and I think one of the other ones you work with that's a big part of it is the Culinary Institute or Culinary Union, which is the people who do the cooking and food prep work. Obviously, there's a lot of people who eat in Vegas, right? There's a lot of restaurant, entertainment type stuff going on in that market, right? So, I mean, how many thousand members does that actually put you in front of potentially?
Yeah, the opportunity is huge. They have 70,000 members, and of course they have several loan officers. But it's when you take the time to prove them that you are willing to learn about those programs, and people talk. They refer family members, their coworkers. Yeah, and like you said, the membership is huge. It's about 70,000 members.
Wow, 70,000 member organization that is promoting you as a presenter and education resource for all the people who want to help buy a home. That's a pretty powerful way to leverage a niche. For those of you in the audience listening to this webinar, I mean, think about what that would look like in your market. Now, you may not necessarily have the Culinary Union or the Culinary Institute to rely upon in your market, but maybe you do have a specific trade union or group. And for example, like one of the markets I used to work in was in a little town called Lebanon, Missouri, right? Well, Lebanon is known as the aluminum boat and pontoon boat capital of the United States. Roughly 40% of the population in that community works for a number of different boat manufacturing companies, and they do a lot of the manufacturing work for that. Well, for example, I could think about going to the union and identifying because there's one union that represents all of the manufacturers and all the people who work in the factories in that town. So if I approach the union talking about a unique way of helping their employees become homeowners and better themselves financially, then I can create a huge benefit to the organization that they love, that they enjoy, and they want me to be a part of on a long-term basis, kind of like Brenda, you've done. I mean, how long have you been doing these classes? And as I understand it, it's still continuing to grow even to this day. You're trying to look at new ways of further getting into that 70,000 database. But you've been doing this, what, about 4 years now, right?
Yes, I have been working with down payment assistance for 4 years. And it's very interesting because then I have the opportunity to meet and connect with other agents that are interested in the programs, and they keep referring us their clients also, their own clients, and yes.
Right. So the second layer of this, guys, and I'm trying to recap for Brenda's behalf for the benefit of our audience. So step one is she found a unique niche that she began to develop a level of technical expertise at how to facilitate, and her team understand the P's and Q's and the quirks of that particular program. That was step one, is she really developed a level of mastery of the basic program, right? The second level of success here is that Brenda and her team found a unique way of getting in front of a lot of people who had a high demand for that particular unique product. In her case, she sought trade unions and the charitable organizations and agencies that also help administer part of that program, and then offered a third step, which was a huge unique benefit to them of being the valuable resource that overpowers the transactional credibility. I mean, first of all, she had to establish the transactional credibility, the ability to get those deals done, but then she had to take it to another level and go beyond just being the vendor. She had to figure out how to be the benefit giver and advisor level. Once she took it to that level, then that opened up a lot of additional opportunities to then create a lot of leverage in the system to go to the next level. So, Brenda, I know one of the ways you've done this, and I'm just going to further clarify the experience for our audience here. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is using a simple tool. We're using basically a 4-step process here that Brenda's basically outlined for you that's going to help you radically improve your results. And some of that comes off the concept called leverage, right? We've all heard that term in business, but very few people have actually stopped and take the time to actually figure out what that really means. You see, lever is a simple machine, and that's where the term leverage comes from. Basically, you've got 2 key parts to it. You've got a bar and a pivot point. If that pivot point, though, is right in the middle, I'm not really using that tool properly. I'm only getting about the same results as the amount of effort I'm putting into it. But all of a sudden, if I shift that pivot point, a couple of feet to one side, all of a sudden, with the same amount of effort, I'm getting 10 times the results. And so one of the things that, Brenda, you mentioned that I want you to spend a little bit more time going deeper into is now how you've taken this to a radically different level by now taking the borrower contacts, the leads, and the connections that creates for you with particularly people in the housing side of the industry, the realtors and the builders in your community, right?
Right, Erik, and definitely, and I think team building, it's a very important part of this growing. I have been focusing on building my team. Well, actually, we have been able to double our production this year, and actually, it's a lot easier to close 25 loans than 15 loans. Right now, everybody has their own role. No, we have a process, and these down payment assistance loans require some work. We have to follow the process to make sure that we have a smooth, successful transaction. But if we, basically, it's all about having the right people.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's kind of like we've talked about before. I mean, there's 2 different ways you can catch a fish, right? One is with a rod and reel, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong that you miss the fish more than you catch them. There's a lot of things that keep that fish in the water instead of in the boat. But if you're looking for a consistent meal and to be able to feed your family and your team and everything, maybe fishing with a net, a different way of fishing, is a better method. And so what you've basically done is you've taken a unique product expertise and you've capitalized on it to get in front of a lot of people who can benefit from that niche with your work with the trade unions and the education classes. And now you're scaling it up to a massive level where now you're leveraging that into ways to make connections with and hand leads to business development partners like realtors in the community and home builders in the community, which is producing massively bigger results. Now, I mean, I think you mentioned that you've doubled your business over the last 12 months, and for those of you listening on the audience on the call today, and yes, that is in spite of the interest rate surges of late June and everything that happened with the fallout of the refinance business. Although, Brenda, you never really built your business on refinance. In fact, what percentage would you say of your business is refinance at this point?
Probably 1%. Most of our pipeline right now are purchases.
Purchases. So she's doubled her business year over year. Now, what does that actually mean from a numbers standpoint? How many loans have you done year to date, approximately?
Year to date, we are very consistent. We have been closing, 20 around the month is like 170, I think. It's our year to date.
Wow. So 20, 25 loans a month. How many year to date have you closed purchase deals?
I don't have the number right now, but yeah, so I think I saw the last, I have to open it, but yeah, I think I saw 170.
Oh, 170 loans.
170, yes.
So far this year through August, right? So obviously
yes.
things are working pretty well for you. You know, and so there's a couple of things that we've mentioned and talked about how you do it. What has been your approach? What has led to the results that you've been able to attain? And kind of tell me a little bit about the program that you're going to be sharing with folks at NAMB National.
Okay, I think the key is you have to love what you do, and you have to have focus, and expertise definitely helps because the competition is less, and also hiring the right people. When you have the right people, you work less, you make more money, they are happier. We go home at 5:30. I really want them to be happy, have balance in their lives. And what I will be sharing at the conference is how have we been able to have this system working. We have a process, and it works very well. We have designed a system, and in working with you have helped me a lot, or how to structure the hiring process and getting the right people in the right positions.
Absolutely. So, folks, what Brenda is alluding to basically is, and what my team and I, the Maximum Acceleration coaches, along with a couple of our guest presenters, are going to be sharing with you at the NAMB National program, is a lot more details of how you go through this process of assessing where your growth opportunities are, mapping out a plan of action, and then following through on the execution of that plan. We do this through a process we call the 5-phase cycle of transformation. It's based on two basically key concepts, and this is something that Brenda will also be sharing with folks at NAMB National. How has she engaged her team and shown care and concern for them, helping engage, creating voluntary momentum with her team where they are as excited and as committed to the growth of the company and the value that they're creating for their agents, because there's a consistency of purpose. And it's based on two key principles here. You know, first law of caring is people won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I know that's an old cliche that we've all heard a million times, but think about it from this perspective. If it weren't fundamentally true, would it have ever been repeated enough to be ignored? So we have to be careful not to dismiss cliches just because we hear them all the time. The reality is if we show desire, caring, passion, and concern for others ahead of ourselves, we get them engaged and excited about how to help them achieve their goals, then it reflects positively on our ability to achieve our goals. And if we incorporate that into how we build a systematic process, then we create massive results in a minimum amount of time. But the second key focus of the law of caring is we don't know what we don't know until somebody cares enough to show us, or until we get hungry enough to seek it out for ourselves. And that's what we're going to be spending the majority of the last half of the day on Monday, the 21st of October. We're going really deep into at the program at NAMB National. We're going to be walking the audience through, and with Brenda's help, she's going to be sharing in a lot more detail how she built the team, what are some of the challenges and obstacles she's faced along the way, and what was the solutions to those obstacles or challenges, because it follows a systematic purpose. We start with that ultimate vision of what we're trying to create. We identify what are the challenges or things that are going to get in the way of us getting there. Then we're going to work through a step-by-step process of helping you plan out the solutions to those unique, specific challenges, and then creating a follow-up and follow-through action plan that you're going to walk away from the event with everything you need in place, already mapped out, to help you engage and implement an effective plan that's going to help you take your business to a radical level of growth. You know, taking Brenda's team from 10 to 12 loans a month average a year ago to averaging over 25 loans a month, currently over 170 loans year to date through August in a purchase market environment. And by the way, that's pretty much all purchase loans, as Brenda shared with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift gears for just a second. We're going to talk a little bit about some questions that have come through in the Q&A so far. As you guys are filtering in, I'm going to pick through a couple of the good questions here. Okay, so first question is coming from Dan. The down payment assistance program she referred to is for Nevada, right? I'm somewhat familiar with the California program, but not Nevada. I guess a little bit more of a statement than a question. But Brenda, would you mind sharing with Dan, how did you dig in deeper into the DAP program that's available for you in Nevada and in the local Vegas community?
Okay, so you mean how I started building those relationships with the agencies?
Well, yeah, I mean, even just the element of where did you find the programs? How did you get started down that path to begin with?
Okay, interesting. Yes, those programs have been available for several years, but I think loan officers are a little bit scared to do those because they are not easy. I remember my first two, they were very difficult. But my husband was telling me, you know, if you get those two done, you are going to be very successful because it's a matter of, you know, to start opening that way. And then I did 1, 2, and and then the rest of the programs become very easy because they are very similar, and I just love them. I have been working with those programs for, I would say, 5 years, and they are different, but very similar. And yeah, so it's just to start doing, you know, like taking the risk and do the first one, and then people know that you can do them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I guess, Dan, what I'll say to you is the advice I would give you for the California program is do what Brenda did, which is basically dig in deep and identify and really understand the rules of the program. The one advantage of most down payment assistance programs, and by the way, pretty much every community across the country has some form of this type of program. I'm not saying that that's the only way to generate this, but develop this level of technical expertise that you could leverage. And digging deep into the guidelines and really understanding the pros and cons and P's and Q's and what will work and what won't work, and how to efficiently filter out whether a client is a good candidate for that program or not is a key element of this. Secondly, okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question here. There were some questions asked about your team. Brenda, how many team members you have, and kind of what are the focus for this type of program? I mean, how many team have?
Yeah, we are 5. We are a team of 5, including myself. I have an account manager, and it's the person that is the first contact with the clients. I have my mortgage associate who helps me to meet with the client and put the file together. I have my processor, and she has an assistant.
Okay, so basically it's a 5-person team. You're primarily in charge of lead generation and marketing.
Yes.
Just so you guys know, Brendan has been a client of mine for about a year, and as we've been working through some of these growth challenges and getting her from this level, we actually have added 2 team members successfully in the time that we've been working together. So, you know, she has a full-time mortgage associate who is Eddie, who does really a lot of the lead intake and the majority of the actual borrower consultation work and loan application taking type stuff. So you kind of work as a production team in that respect. And then you've got Julie, the full-time processor, and Julie has an assistant. And then you've got the account manager, who is Gabby, who is the person who does a lot of the commission, the initial intake, customer service, phone management, as well as some of the a little bit of the light condition chasing on pre-approvals. Also keep in mind, folks, that Brenda's unique market is obviously, and this is general advice for anybody in the purchase market. Remember that in the purchase market, the work we do today pays off 90 days from now, because we've got that whole incubation time. We've got that time where they're CBD shopping or pre-approved out shopping, you know, because there's And really, in all honesty, your lead pipeline management in a purchase environment is more important, in my opinion, than the pipeline management once a file goes into a live active loan situation. So part of the other reason that the team, Brenda's team, has grown the way that it has is to accommodate that need. And we've made some major headway even in the last couple of months with being able to substantially increase the capture and retention rate of the buyers that you pre-approve, helping them actually get through to where they actually get properties accepted and get under contract. And I mean, Brenda, at one point, we were looking at some of the numbers, and her fallout had been somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 60% of buyers they spent time with and pre-approved did not actually end up ever closing or close somewhere else. Now we've shaved that down to about, I think, a little less than 30% fallout, and some of that is still in question because it's a timing issue. So just keep that in mind in a purchase market environment. What you're doing to stay in touch with the buyers who are out shopping for property is some of the most valuable things you can do to make sure that those deals actually end up closing and close with you. Okay, so we're going to kind of start to shift gears here just a little bit. There's one last thing that I wanted to share with you all really quick. Just a quick reminder, you know, guys, this is about helping you guys get your business to the next level, and whatever we as an organization, the NAMB National Association, the Association of Mortgage Professionals, can do to help you really power up your business and get you prepared for a strong 2014. As part of that event on the last day from 1:30 to 5:30 in the evening, we're going to be walking you through a step-by-step process that's going to help you build your success plan for 2014. So when you walk out of the room, you've got a complete and detailed action plan that you're going to walk away with, that you're going to be able to implement throughout 2014 to really power up your purchase business and do a lot of what, like Brenda has shared with you today. If you guys are still looking for how to get access to that, there's still plenty of tickets available for the event. If you go to nambnational.com, www.nambnational.com, there is still opportunity to register on that page. There are still a handful of tickets available, although I'll tell you what, guys, we have over 1,700 of the top mortgage professionals in the country coming out for this event already, and that facility only really has capacity for about 2,100. So we only really have about 300 additional tickets available, so I encourage you not to wait. Go ahead and jump in, and guys, it's only $2.95 a ticket. The ideas, strategies, and tools that you're going to get at the conference that you're going to be able to implement and execute from the conference, I guarantee you will put at least an extra 3 to 5 loans in the pipeline in the first half of next year. And if you look at the commissions that you're going to make, yes, you'll spend a couple thousand total by the time you pay your ticket price, your airfare, and your hotel room for a couple of days. But in reality, this is going to be one of the least expensive or lowest investment conferences of the next year. To be able to get the kind of advice and guidance that can put an extra 4 or 5 loans in your pipeline next spring, with average commissions around $2,000, I mean, you're talking a $10,000 return on a $1,000 investment. I mean, I can't think of too many other places where I can get a 1,000% return on my investment. So I strongly encourage you guys to seriously consider coming out for the event. Go ahead and get onto the website and get your ticket. As we transition, guys, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the next part of our presentation. I'm going to ask Mr. Mark Madsen to jump in here and rip through some of the powerful strategies that he's going to be sharing with everybody at the NAMB National event. So, Mr. Mark, if you're ready, go ahead and take it and run with it, bud.
Yes, sir. It looks like I have, 15 minutes to roll through my entire internet marketing strategy?
Yeah, we'll give you more than that, but it's a preview, man.
Okay. As soon as you give me controls over. So my name is Mark Madsen, and yes, I'm in charge of technology, but not great on a computer, as you can see. My name is Mark Madsen. I run the organic leads division for a mortgage marketing firm. And basically what it means is I'm in charge of about 31,000 websites. We generate several thousand leads a day. And I basically focus on getting sites found on page 1 of Google. What I'm going to go over with you today in the next 15, 20 minutes is a quick highlight. is I'm going to share with you my blueprint for generating leads online so you can take this and apply it to your own internet marketing strategy without having to hire anybody, and something you can actually do right now and start building equity in your online presence. I'm not a salesperson for this company. I'm just kind of the geek behind the scenes. They let out of the lab every once in a while, so I'm happy to answer any questions about internet marketing for you, and we'll go through this. So as we move into the purchase market, this is the theme that most of you may be facing shortly, sitting down in front of a team of agents, and that agent interview. Why should we work with you? I know this theme very well. From 1999 till about 2007, 2008, I was originating loans in Las Vegas, and all of my business came from referrals from real estate agents. I was great at this. I went to every closing. I answered the phone on weekends and evenings. I even bought them lunch. But at the end of 2007, the market crashed completely, and all of my referral relationships didn't mean a whole heck of a lot. That's a problem that I have with working on referral relationships, is that there's really no job security. I love what Brenda had to say earlier about going after her niche, controlling those relationships, and I mean it's actually really similar to what we're doing. I'm online, she's more offline with the down payment assistance programs. So what happened is I had one agent that was still stuck around, and him and I had been building websites since 2004. And that one website was on page 1 of Google, and it started to trickle in a few leads. So I built that website up to 3 or 4 more, and then 10, and then 100. And now we run thousands of websites. But I had a game-changing moment, because if I went consumer direct, I no longer had to ask an agent for their business. It was a complete shift. Now they're taking me to lunch. Now they're asking us, hey, how can we work with you? And I assume Brenda probably has these exact same sit-downs. So the basics of internet marketing have not changed much since I started playing around on the web in 2004. Granted, we have social media, social networking, but the foundation of the systems are the same. You need to pick a target audience. You need to have a niche. You need to niche out. Then you have to develop a content strategy that requires writing a lot of content, and then build the niche websites. And I'm all about going niche specific. I found that on the web, the niche works way better because that's what people are looking for. Traffic, you're always trying to send traffic to your website. I'm going to share with you in a few minutes here some of the ways that we drive traffic to our websites. And then a lead management system. So identifying a target audience. Let's pick a niche. When people go to Google, they're not looking for a local mortgage professional that is trustworthy, has ethics, and will communicate with me. They're simply looking for something that they want now, a Las Vegas VA expert, Las Vegas 203K loans, Las Vegas HARP mortgage lender. These are the types of things that people are putting into Google. And when they find your website on page 1 of Google, they're going to understand that you are the program expert. But here's what a borrower looks like. They're online, and they're trying to figure out their mortgage payments. They really don't even know what to ask Google quite yet, which is why we need to have a very strong content strategy. The National Association of Realtors put out a home buyer and seller generational trends. And this goes back to understanding who our niche audience is. 79% of buyers under 32 are first-time home buyers, and 39% of purchases currently are being done by first-time home buyers. So if we're on the web and our medium is the web, our target audience, whether it may be VA, FHA, or 203K, the younger generations, they have this natural desire for information, which is why it is important to consider a content strategy. They ask Google frequently asked questions about the mortgage process, and then they determine whether or not they trust you based on your authority on the web. And that is the basics of internet marketing. The website should build trust and authority all the way through. So the content. This is craft the message. This is step 2. Choose your niche. Now we have to come up with 15 to 20 pages of content that we are going to put on your landing pages, your websites, your real estate agents' websites, and several other niche websites. And it's as simple as 15 to 20 frequently asked questions about that program, about that niche. Down payment, loan to value, co-borrower, all of the questions that somebody may have about getting into an FHA loan or buying. And really our process here is to simplify this very complex mortgage process in a manner that the borrower can understand and trust and be confident in. Now for the fun part, is creating websites. Your website should convert on a niche website anywhere from 4 to 12% into a phone call or a form. Compare that to a generic mortgage website that is not content-rich or may only have one page of content about each type of program. The generic websites, mortgage websites, typically convert less than 1%. So on a niche website, if you send traffic to one that is well-designed for conversion and optimized locally so it gets found in the search engines, 4 to 12% of your traffic will turn into an actual lead. Let me go over some of the components of creating a niche website and from what we found, things that make it convert. Obviously niche specific, but you need to be local. If you're lending in California, and that's your state that you can lend in, you need to have a website for San Francisco and San Diego, because somebody who's in San Francisco but is doing a search for a local San Francisco FHA lender does not want to deal with the guy in San Diego. So this might become cost prohibitive for most companies launching several hundred websites, but really it's just a technology issue. And there's plenty of technology out there that will let you replicate sites and create unique content and optimize them all at a local level. Your niche website needs to be very clean and easy to navigate. Options up in the navigation bar shouldn't be overwhelming, not too many drop-downs. They're looking for information on eligibility, buying, refinancing, interest rates, and how they can get started. And your call to action needs to be clear as well. On every single page, up above the fold, not surrounded by many other things that will distract them. And content, like I said again, content is extremely important. A content-rich website will earn that trust and authority right off the bat. All of my niche websites generally have, just on the home page alone, anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 words of content. And I try to pack my sites full of, I mean, you really don't need to go above 20 pages of content for your niche site, but if you can continue to add blog posts and anything that is relevant to the market as it pertains to that niche, it wouldn't hurt you. Video is excellent. Video stops people in their tracks. On a mortgage website, if you can get somebody to stay on your site for 90 seconds, you're doing really, really well. That's about the amount of time somebody spends, and they may only come back once or twice. So that's all you have. And a video stops them in their tracks. It allows them to click on something. It's kind of like a pattern stopper. That's why I like to add videos. Trust icons. Put your Better Business Bureau. If you've got any other certifications or places that you're involved with, throw those on your website so that people can see that you're an actual business. And I would say probably the most important thing with designing a niche website is to keep it very clean. Cut out the noise. You do not need to have all of your Facebook icons, your Twitter feeds, your conversations that are happening all over the web. Somebody has got a few basic questions about a loan program. They are more than likely not going to read everything you write. They'll read just enough to determine that they trust you, that you're confident in the process. When I write my content on a niche site, I do a little, part of it is really easy to read so that they say, okay, wow, this guy's making this stuff understandable, I feel comfortable. Some of the higher level things, for example, mortgage rate pages, I try to write at a very high level so that a borrower will read it and say, whoa, I guess I didn't realize it was so involved, how interest rates move so many times a day. I guess I'll just have to trust this person's judgment instead of trying to figure the whole thing out. So you can play a little bit with that. Let's pretend that spending 6 to 9 months to develop a niche site, getting it optimized, getting it found in the search engines, writing all of that content. Let's just say that is not your game right now. You want to get in and start generating leads today. Then you can create a killer landing page. Our landing pages convert at 28 to 32%. So all of the traffic that we send to that landing page, if 100 people go there, we have 28 to 32 either phone calls or applications, compared to just the generic niche site, which would be 4 to 12 applications. But it's marketing, and marketing is measurable. So we're always tweaking things to find out how we can convert a little bit higher. What's this button look like? What's that? If you go to unbounce.com, they'll give you a free landing page template, or you can purchase one for maybe $20 a month or $20 a year. But if you have a really good, well-converting landing page, and then you buy traffic and send it to that landing page, or through another strategy I'll share with you in a second, here's one way to get around that whole niche website content thing. As you're building your niche website in the background, because you definitely want to have several niche websites, it's going to build equity for you. It's going to be job security. It's empowering knowing that you're generating your own leads. But unbounce.com, create a landing page today, send traffic to it. Now, there's something that I did not include in the slide deck here, but I would say let's pretend that there's 4% of my traffic converts on the niche site into a lead or a form. So that means that there's 96% that of the people that hit that website leave. Well, there's technology where you can actually follow them around the web and place ads everywhere else they go. So you can brand yourself. You can talk about VA if they hit your VA site. You can talk about FHA if they happen to be on the Wall Street Journal or any place that shows banner ads or pay-per-click type of marketing. You can market right back to them and keep sending these people back to your sites, back to different types of landing pages. That's called remarketing, and it's significantly less expensive than pay-per-click. So let's say if you just now create a landing page, okay, while you're working on your content strategy. Let's say you've only got 5 pages of FHA content you've created. Buyers are who we are after, and buyers are on real estate agent websites. They only care about properties. They just want to look at properties. And if you can put your content on that real estate agent's website, and I'm talking about an agent that has a lot of traffic. When you go to Google, you type in your city plus homes for sale. The people that are on page 1 and at the top of page 2 of Google are the real estate agents that you want to work with as you're developing your content strategy. And here's why. The NAR did another study, and they said that the typical home buyers, they take about 3 months searching online for homes before they make an action. Not before they technically start to buy, but before they start to really get serious about buying. So if you put your content out there where the buyers are in front of properties, they're going to see your face next to this FHA article or this VA article, and they're going to see it for 3 months, at which point they're going to determine that you are the authority on that topic, and they will learn to trust you over time. Plus, if you were on a really high-traffic real estate agent's website, it's kind of an implied endorsement. It's like the other loan officers have got their little featured place on their site, but if you're giving them content, you're all over the place. And that's one benefit of that. So you take your landing page, you write some content, and you shoot them to your landing page. And the benefit to the agent, why would they care to have your content on their site? The agents that are on page 1 of Google, they're not really real estate agents anymore. Now they're just full-time internet marketers with a staff of real estate agents who handle all of their leads. And what they need more than anything is targeted content, really well-written mortgage niche content that converts buyers, because they do not know how to write mortgage content. They're real estate agents. They shouldn't have to. So if you provide them with this type of content on their website, it'll drive more leads, more traffic, which will convert into buyers for them, borrowers for you. And you'll get found in the search engines that much faster as well. I'm looking at time here. Okay, so 4, traffic. Like I said, marketing is measurable. If you know that your site, your landing pages, and your niche sites convert at X, well, then we just need to send the right type of traffic to those pages to get more leads. So there's paid traffic, and then there's free traffic. Both are actually the same because the free traffic still takes time and resources. So if you value your time, then there's a certain amount of cost involved in both. But the paid traffic would be pay-per-click. That would be on Google, the search results pages where up at the top and to the right, You have the sponsored listings. And you target phrases like rent versus own, or down payment assistance, or down payment first-time home buyer program. And when they click on those, they hit your landing page, and your landing page should convert 28% of those people into an actual lead. And then you might end up paying anywhere from $20 to $50 per lead based on the amount of people that click on that ad, what it cost you, and then who actually converted into a lead. And if you want to take it a step further, you can measure your cost per acquisition. So how many leads does it take from your internet marketing activities to generate a paycheck? And if you can generate a paycheck for $200 to $500 for your pay-per-click or your internet marketing activities, you're doing really well. Email, you can blast email. One thing that I do that works really well for us and has like longer lasting results is press releases. They're expensive. We spend about $450 per press release, and we drop those. In a newsworthy style. So we're not talking about us or our website. We're talking about relevant news. The new Back to Work program that just came out. PARP was extended another year or two. These are the things that get picked up by the Wall Street Journal and all of the major news publications around the country. And then we quote ourselves as the expert with a link to our site and a couple links to different landing pages. So people are reading it just as they would read any news story. Now they see you being quoted in the newspaper. It's expensive, but I would say that one press release generates us about 60 leads within a month. One press release is good for about 60 on a low end. So you can measure that out, back it out, and make sure that those metrics fit what your budget is. Free traffic, search engine optimization. Everybody talks about SEO, getting found on page 1 of Google in the organic search results. And what I do with our SEO is I do not target rate shoppers. I go back to that initial content strategy. I'll type in FHA mortgage or VA mortgage, and I start to look for the questions people are asking. And you'll notice a pattern that people ask very similar questions in about the same way. So if you title your pages in the exact same way that they're asking these questions, what's the minimum FICO score for an FHA loan? FHA appraisal guidelines in Las Vegas. Your site will slowly start to bubble up in the search results. You've got gift blogging, and that goes back to putting your content on other authority websites, which is going to be one of your local real estate agents, or maybe 2 or 3 of those local real estate agents. And then other industry publications, you've got your local newspaper. Everybody's looking for content, so you can just go ahead and repurpose that content and spread it around. And every time you guest blog, you point a link, 1 or 2 links, back into individual pages on your site, as well as to your landing page. And this is how you drive not only traffic, but you really juice those sites up in the search engines. Social media, I would say this. Google+, just figure out Google+. Disregard Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. When it comes to search engine marketing, actually boosting websites, Google+ will be a great asset to you over time. Google obviously owns Google+ as their answer to Facebook social network, and they're rewarding people's websites who are connected to a Google+ account. So they're basically going to force feed you into using Google+. Step 5 is probably the most important, and that's the conversion strategy. You need to have a lead management system. It's technology. So when a lead comes in, it hits your technology. It automatically sends them a text message saying thank you, sends them a series of emails, and then puts them in a schedule, and then round robins these leads to either you, your real estate agents, your originators, your team. Leads 360, which is now called Velocify, they have a ton of great resources on lead management systems. And if you email me, I'll be happy to share that. I did a webinar a few weeks ago, and I've got all of these resources that I can forward on. But they said that call 6 times. There's timing of when you are supposed to call. You have certain types of emails. There's so many different ways scientifically to convert your leads higher, and it all starts out by having a good lead management system. So basically, internet marketing is a team sport. I speak with thousands of loan officers, and very seldom do I find that most of them are doing anything with the web, which means that if there are only 300 or 400 of us out there playing around on the web, helping each other with links, writing content, syndicating our content, learning about this, then we can go consumer direct. We're more so of a team than competing against each other, and go get those buyers direct and then refer them back out to the real estate agents. There's things that we need to do like press releases. We need quotes. There's testimonials. There's so many different things you can do. So keep in mind that anytime you're talking about the internet and you see other loan officers, even if they're local, these are going to be people that you want to work with and figure out how you can help each other get higher up in the search engines or just learn more. And I am ready for questions, Eric. I ran through that as fast as I could. I think that NAMB National, I've got an hour and a half to speak. It'll be a different story.
Right. Yes, definitely. You know, guys, when you come out to NAMB National event, of course, if you know, obviously for whatever reason, if you're not going to be able to make it out to NAMB National, well, sorry, you're going to miss out on a great event, and I apologize. There's no other way to say it but that. However, if you do want to reach out to Mark directly, here's how you get access to him. Phone number 702-496-5626 or mmadsen@bestratereferrals.com. But coming out to NAMB National, you're going to be able to hang out with Mark. And actually, I mean, keep in mind, guys, a lot of these breakout sessions only have capacity for 50 or 60 people. They're usually a very intimate conversation. You'll be able to stop by the booth throughout the event and hang out with Mark and pick his brain on a lot of the different ideas and strategies that many of you are asking questions about. One of the first questions that caught my attention that I actually am kind of curious about getting the answer to is this kind of quick question mark about how do you send traffic to a landing page that you've just created to start getting leads immediately? What are some of the best ways to really juice that landing page in a very short period of time?
So the landing page is designed for one purpose, and that is to convert. There aren't links taking you outside other places. You can create a landing page in an hour at unbounce.com, and then you buy traffic. So pay-per-click, press releases. You can then go out and write maybe 3 or 4 articles on some other relevant websites and then send that traffic to your landing page. So I'll offer real estate agent A, hey, I'd like to give you 2 articles on FHA lending and this new back-to-work program because I feel that it'll help your buyers knowing that they might be able to get in a little bit sooner than they anticipated or they were planning on. And then in the bio section underneath that article, say Mark is a Las Vegas FHA expert, click here to learn more about FHA, and then boom, you send them right to a landing page. I mean, we come up with different landing pages all of the time, and we just send traffic. So we have to buy that traffic, or I've got to go and write a press release or do some articles, but that's the purpose of a landing page is to convert.
Right. So, I mean, here's the thing, Mark, and you tell me if I'm wrong. What I'm actually hearing you say is kind of like we've talked about with the sales strategy is first of all, they've got to remember that each stage of the process, people don't make a decision to buy a loan from you, right? They make hundreds of little decisions that lead to the fact that they end up doing their loan through you and you get a commission. So each step in the process is about getting them to make little incremental commitments one step at a time that build on each other. So one of the things that Mark shared in that quick little response to Dan's question here is give them something they want so that they'll give you their information. What's in it for them? Why should they give you their name, email address, and phone number? Well, Mark mentioned like free articles, for example, the article that you could give to agents on the landing page about buyers and how to get into a home faster because of this new back-to-work program. After bankruptcy, foreclosure, or short sale. So that's kind of one of the simple strategies. I'll tell you what, guys, though.
Let me cut in really fast on that, Eric. I didn't mean to.
Sure.
Keep that message consistent. You do not, I mean, you could have hundreds of landing pages. Have one specifically designed for the Back-to-Work program, specifically for people that were out of a bankruptcy, and make that different than the landing page and your message from the people that are out of a foreclosure. the more detailed you can get, is niched out. So not only are we going after FHA, but we're going after somebody who's 2 years out of a foreclosure. And you keep that message consistent from the search engine traffic, the titles, the pay-per-clicks, the articles, all the way through to your landing page. That helps build trust. It's those little things you're talking about, Eric, those little steps along the way. They're like, okay, well, the message is consistent. They still are talking about the Back to Work program. They're not selling me anything else. I like these people, and that trust is built through those little steps. So I'm happy you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing you could do is some sort of free offer, like he was talking about with the articles. As I was thinking about the question here that Dan posed is like, for example, particularly let's focus on Back to Work since that's our topic of conversation. What is people's biggest pain? They had a foreclosure or bankruptcy less than 2 years ago, and they don't think they can buy. All they really want to know is, can I buy or not? So what about offering on the landing page a free, with most of our coaching clients, we call it home opportunity evaluation. There maybe is a slightly different way to rebrand that so it's a little more closely aligned with the Back to Work. Maybe get a free Back to Work evaluation. Although I think that, to be honest, my personal opinion is that program is very poorly titled, but I wasn't in charge of naming it. So
right.
If I was consulting the federal government, I would tell them to think of a different title. But the reality is if we can say, find out, the offer is find out how to buy a home a year out of bankruptcy.
Right.
Or find out how to get in a loan, get in a home less than 2 years from foreclosure.
Well, and here, take this a step further. I see Julia's next question. Would you send some sample press releases? If you do a search for PR Web and HARP Mortgage Lender, you'll see several of our press releases. Every time the FHFA comes out with a new refinance report, we light it up on our top 10 states and just kind of talk about the numbers, this month versus last month compared to foreclosure numbers. So if for Dan, you create the landing page, and then you launch a press release about the program you're talking about, the actual down to the specific, let's call it Back to Work, then you drop a press release, then that press release gets syndicated and picked up on the Wall Street Journal, Miami Herald, Sacramento Bee, SF Gate. Now you can put on your landing page as seen on, and you can deal with your own copyright issues on that one. But hey, if your article was syndicated to all of these major publications, now you can say, hey, here's that news story that I was featured in or quoted in. You put those on your landing pages, and that'll help build that trust. But you could have 3 or 4 different articles just on your little landing page to help build that authority, and that's another great way of doing it.
Awesome.
And use the word check eligibility. Check eligibility. See if your scenario is eligible for. See if you're eligible for. People are not afraid of not being eligible for something. They're afraid of not being approved for something. But if they're not eligible, they're not eligible. So what do I have to do to become eligible? And I found that just that phrase right there really helped us generate more leads. Your buttons and everything. Check eligibility.
Yeah, I mean, guys, when you're talking about marketing strategies, putting yourself in front of hundreds of thousands of eyeballs, fine-tuning of words that make incremental small percentage increases of 0.2 or 0.3 or 0.4 higher response rate, you could be talking hundreds of additional leads in difference with just those minor subtleties like Mark just shared with you. All right, guys, well, in the interest of time, in the webinar format that NAMB gave us permission to do here, I'd love to spend hours and hours longer with you. But the reality is, guys, is you're going to be able to come out and hang out with Mark and the rest of the top producers that we've introduced you to through the series. We've got several more to come over the next couple of weeks in this preview series. I mean, you really are going to have the opportunity. This is going to be, I will guarantee you, this is going to be one of the best conferences of the last 5 years and of the next 3 years. As far as bringing together a community of some of the top thought leaders, producers, originators, mortgage professionals that are totally committed to taking their business productivity and performance to a completely higher level in a radically short period of time. So if you really want to be able to get the tools and resources you need to create your success plan so that you win in 2014, you need to be at this event. Like I said, it's going to be, The last time we saw an event of this caliber was, you'd have to go all the way back to late 2011 at the last Mortgage Success Source Sales Mastery, Business Mastery program. And guys, we're working strategically to make sure that when you walk out of that workshop Monday night at 6 o'clock, that you have your success plan in hand to be able to start executing immediately when you leave this conference. And for the measly investment of only $295 for a ticket to the conference, hotel rooms as cheap as I think 120 or 119 a night at a great Vegas hotel, to hang out with a couple of the best, 1,700 of the best thought leaders in the industry, guys like Greg Frost and Maria Rodriguez and Mark Madsen and Brenda Casas. You just simply can't afford not to be at this event. The $1,000 investment by the time you combine airfare and hotel and everything is going to pay 10, 20, 30, 50 times return on investment in a very, very short period of time. Invest in yourself. Be the 1%ers who take this business seriously and who are building their future strategically and proactively instead of being a victim of the market shifts that play at us all the time. With that being in mind, guys, go to nambnational.com, pick the registration. Don't wait. Take action now. You need to be at this event. Come out and support the association, the one and only association truly dedicated to mortgage professionals and your success and growth throughout the year. Of course, there's going to be a lot of other cool things going on at the event. You'll also be able to come out and hang out with guys like Mark Madsen and stuff like that. For whatever reason, if you cannot attend the event, there's going to be some other opportunities coming up. Again, one of our other guest speakers that's going to be on our Maximum Acceleration webinar series coming up next week, education specialist with Go-To Training, Ginger Bell, who is a compliance training expert, will be showing you how to power up your purchase education, how to get in front of hundreds of agents a year with great CE programming, and how to build it easily, quickly, and effectively to get you in the driver's seat and, like Mark shared today, become the authority in your market and in your community. She's got some great tips, and by the way, Ginger will be out there with the rest of our folks at the NAMB National Conference, sharing some of her great strategies, ideas, and tools, in addition to some of her insight on what's going on with Dodd-Frank from a compliance standpoint, LO-Comp, and some other amazing things that you're going to need to hear about to be able to take your business to the next level in 2014. You can register for next week's webinar at mxlcoach.com/webinars. So go ahead and jump to that landing page right now. In addition to that, if you'd like more information about the Maximum Acceleration coaching process, what we do, you can come out and hang out with our crew at Vegas. If for whatever reason you're not going to be able to attend the Vegas conference, if you'd like more information about the coaching program, the best way to understand the value of it is experience it. You can do that through our strategy sessions. So if you want to jump on mxlcoach.com/strategy, or if you want to go ahead and just post in the Q&A section right now that you'd like to be able to get scheduled for one of those one-on-one strategy sessions in advance of the NAMB event, go ahead and feel free to jump in and take advantage of that by posting the best phone number and email address for our team to be able to reach out to you and get you registered and scheduled for that one-on-one session. Otherwise, guys, the last thing that I want you to do is you've invested some of your time today. You've committed to being, and by the way, I want to applaud all of you for taking the time out today to focus on how to build your business to the next level. It's probably one of the best things you could do is, they say that the only thing you should borrow money for investment-wise is education, to invest in yourself. If you leverage the time that you've invested in today's program, but you don't actually take action with any of the ideas you've heard, is your time well invested? So think about that for just a minute. You've invested the time to get some great ideas, but if you don't take action with those ideas, it's going to have no benefit for your business. So the last thing I want to encourage you to do is before you look at the next email or before you jump on the next phone call, take 3 minutes to take action with the ideas and strategies that our presenters have shared with you today. So decide, first of all, what was the most valuable thing you've heard in this program? As I've mentioned in Q&A, you're going to get the recording in a couple of days from this program. You can come back and pick up idea 2 through 20 later. Just pick one right now. What's the most valuable thing you've heard in this program that you're going to implement immediately? 2 is decide what is the next step you need to take to make that idea a part of your business on a daily basis. 3 is decide a target date for completion. By when are you going to have that action implemented? And then fourth, I didn't have time to go into the example of it today, but the reality is if you want a 95% chance of you following through on that idea, tell somebody what you're going to do and by when you're going to do it, and ask them to follow up with you by that target date. So decide who you're going to leverage as an accountability partner to call you back up a week from now or 2 weeks from now and bug you about whether you did that action or not. You know, the promises we make to somebody else are so much more powerful than the promises we make to ourselves. So take action, find an accountability partner. Again, if there's anything that myself or the rest of the leadership at NAMB or our guest presenters today can answer questions-wise for you, feel free to post those questions or comments in the Q&A. We're going to leave the webinar open for just a few more minutes from a chat and Q&A perspective to be able to get those final questions in. Again, if you'd like help finding a good accountability partner, or if you don't have that kind of person in your life right now, you'd like more information about how coaching can provide that for you, you're more than welcome to go ahead and post the request for a strategy session. The easiest way is, like I said, just pop into the Q&A. Let me know the best phone number and email address for our scheduling team to get a hold of you, because we really only have a handful of these sessions available each week. They're scheduled on on a first-come, first-served basis based on our coaches' calendar availabilities. You are going to get real time with a real professional coach who does it day in, day out for full-time paying clients. You're going to get a free coaching session to experience what coaching can do for you and identify how to get the accountability rolling. If you'd like one of those sessions, feel free to go ahead and post that in the Q&A right now. Otherwise, guys, we look forward to seeing you all at NAMB National. Come out and hang out with myself and Brad Korn and Stephanie York and Ted Gross and Greg Frost, Renee Rodriguez, Mark Madsen, and a whole host of great top-performing originators who are going to be joining us on last day. Make sure you plan to stay all the way through Monday night so that you can catch the full value of the program, walk out with your action plan for success for 2014 in hand and ready to roll. Otherwise, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave the platform open here for just a minute. I'm going to, by the way, Mark, I was going to give you, if you're still on the line, if you'd like, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share with our crew today?
Sorry, I was just on mute. I'll be here and answering questions. If anybody has personal questions about any internet marketing, SEO, or how they can get connected with other online mortgage people, email me directly. I'll send you some links. Mark at markmadsen.me, as in me, or my Best Rate Referrals email. Either way. Google+, we've got a mortgage network over there of mortgage professionals. If you are on Google+, go join that community. That's it. Vegas will be fun for NAMB National. Hopefully everybody comes out.
I can't wait to see you guys out there. Of course, it's not too much of a trip for you, Mark, but we're going to be right in your backyard for a couple of days there. But I'm definitely excited about getting out there and hanging out with you and Renee and the rest of the crew, and looking forward to seeing a great audience to work with this year as well. I mean, last year was an amazing event. This year is going to be even way better. So, guys, and by the way, I want to one more time applaud and congratulate and thank NAMB, the Association of Mortgage Professionals, for taking the initiative and leadership to put on this type of an amazing program, and I'm just feel totally blessed to be a part of it. As maximum acceleration, our only goal is helping clients get from where they are to where they want to be faster, and I'm so pleased and honored to be a part of a great organization like NAMB that really does truly care about the benefit of its members and providing all the tools and resources they need to radically explode the business. So I'm very excited about the conference. Look forward to seeing all of you there. Like I said, the last thing you can do for yourself today to make today's time well invested, go do something with these ideas. Put your action plan together and follow through on implementing those ideas and strategies. Of course, if there's anything else, my team at Maximum Acceleration, Mark with Best Rate Referral, or any of the rest of the crew that you're going to hear from today or over the next couple of weeks with this preview series can do to help you grow your business, don't hesitate to actively give us a reach out, okay? Otherwise, I look